Welcome to another episode of Coaster Voyager here. Today on July 6, 2026, we're here at the legendary Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. The park that's responsible for starting the coaster renaissance back in the 70s with the Racer coaster. It's been a while since we've been here, almost 3 years. Since then, the park has been sort of purchased by Six Flags, so we're gonna see if they've made any changes here. I'm somewhat worried that Six Flags might have ruined the park, but hopeful that everything is just as good as it once was. So we're gonna keep going.
Six Flags is like Alabama football. We don't like them.
Okay, I don't know what to make of that, but let's go. First, we're walking down International Street here too at Kings Island. They have the largest Starbucks in the Midwest. We're heading into Area 72 to start the day, and inside this warehouse-looking building, the roller coaster Flight of Fear is in here. It celebrates its 30th anniversary this year. It opened back in 1996, and actually it was the world's first LIM-powered launch coaster. We were going to start off the day at Flight of Fear, but there's been a delay, so we're going over to another Premier Rides launch coaster, the Queen City Stunt coaster. That actually turns 20 this year. It opened back in 2006. So that's Queen City Stunt coaster. It's, a pretty solid, actually kind of underrated family launch coaster. It almost reminds me of Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure at Islands of Adventure. I might be the first person to say that, or I may not, but I just thought of that comparison. And also I noticed here that Kings Island is committing treason against Six Flags by having their employees wear Cedar Fair uniforms still, even though that merger between Six Flags and Cedar Fair happened almost 3 years ago. So it looks sort of like an act of treason here.
It's treason, then.
Just did the Beast, and now we're heading over to the hypercoaster Diamondback. The Beast has had a lot of track work done on it recently, which helps keep it smooth. And as a lot of people say, it's kind of like a glorified monorail, the world's fastest monorail even. But just the spectacle of having it go out in the woods, it is the world's longest wooden coaster. But then that double helix at the end is fantastic. But heading over to Diamondback now, which from my experience 3 years ago, it's pretty smooth, but some people say it has a rattle, so we'll see. Diamondback over here is an excellent roller coaster. Just did it. It does have a little bit of a rattle, but it's still, between this and another ride we're gonna do later, those two would be my favorites here. But across from that, Mystic Timbers, the GCI wooden coaster, is closed this morning for some reason, so we're hoping that goes back up later today. We don't miss that. But over in Planet Snoopy, the newest roller coaster at the park, Snoopy's Soapbox Races, opened 2 years ago, but that'll be new for me, so I think we're gonna check that out. We're here in Planet Snoopy. There's a new area with a re-themed ride and the new one I mentioned. We've got Woodstock's Air Rail here, the Vekoma Family Suspended Coaster. That's one I can definitely miss, but hopefully Soapbox Races is up and running right now. I'd like to check that one out. Soapbox Races just went down right as we were about to get on, so we're heading over here to do Woodstock Express now. This is actually a very nostalgic coaster for me. It was one of the first ones I ever rode. Kings Island has been through a lot of owners over the years, but when I rode it first, it was actually the Fairly Odd Coaster themed on the Fairly Odd Parents show. So that was back when this area was called Nickelodeon Universe. And now, as Planet Snoopy, it's Woodstock Express. Finally did Snoopy's Soapbox Racers. It's very similar to Holiday World's Good Gravy. They're effectively the same ride, both a Vekoma Family Boomerang. Now we're heading over to Kings Island's new ride for this year, the Phantom Theater, which is actually a remake, somewhat of an old ride called Phantom Theater. Before this, there was the Boo Blasters on Boo Hill, Shooting Dark ride. And before that, there was another ride called Phantom Theater. And so they brought it back this year. We'll see how it compares. Although I didn't ride the original, so I can only go off old videos of it.
Seated here, arms and especially your legs inside the outermost and all tiles. Once seated, grab your trusty flashlight and press the button to identify the color of your light speed. Inside the theater, press your flashlight button and point your beam at anything that might get in the way.
Just watch out when you land when you get blasted in the head. I don't want to. I
Just did Phantom Theater for the first time, heading back through International Street now. But the Phantom Theater was it's well done, and I didn't know this at first, but it was a shooting dark ride actually, with flashlights that they use to shine on these holographic ghost notes, and you get a score based on how many you hit. So it's a fun new ride here. This is the racer, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that Kings Island kind of started the coaster renaissance. Well, when it opened in 1972, their first big roller coaster was the racer here. It's the first wooden roller coaster in the US in years. And at the time it was the tallest, longest, and fastest in the world. And not to mention the racing aspect of it. There hadn't really been another one to have dueling tracks for a while. So other parks wanted to get one just like it. A bunch of them did, like King's Dominion got the Rebel Yell, which is now raced with 75. Carowinds got one. Great Adventure got one. But it's also nice to see that they're racing it, because at the beginning of the day they weren't for some reason. So it's nice to see it running as intended. Across the path from the racer, you have the entrance to a somewhat new land at Kings Island, the Adventure Port, which opens in 2023, I think. You have this Endeavor ride called Soul Spin, and back behind here we have the renovated mine train, Adventure Express. One of the weirdest, but one of the best mine trains probably in the country. Continuing through Adventure Point now, we've got Cargo Loco, this spinning barrel ride, but behind it, Banshee is in the next themed area, the Action Zone. But anyway, it's the longest inverted coaster in the world, and it opened back in 2014 here, so it's now 12 years old. A little bit nervous because I can hear a rattle on it from miles away basically, but I'll have to see how smooth it is. This is the one I mentioned that might be my favorite ride in the park, along with Diamondback earlier. You got the graveyard in the queue for the Banshee. Most of them are just fake props, but actually here we have a memorial to the son of Beast that was in this plot of land for 10 years. And actually Banshee only takes up a tiny percentage of it. And even though Son of Beast was short-lived, it still lasted longer than Air Force One, which that really hurts. But anyway, it's cool that they had the memorial to Son of Beast here at We just got off a couple rides on the Banshee, which is as good as it used to be, or as good as I remember it. I'd say it's similar in intensity to the Hulk. And over here we've got the Bat, not Kings Island's original Bat. There was a ride called the Bat that operated in the 80s for only a few years. But this one in the Action Zone area, a lot of the attractions here were themed to movies that were owned by Paramount. When it opened, it was called Top Gun the Ride. It was eventually renamed Flight Deck to keep the aircraft carrier and Navy jet theme. And then it was eventually renamed back to the Bat in honor of the original ride. And the original ride was one of the first ever suspended coasters by Arrow. And this is actually the newest one built. And it goes back to 1993, so it's very old, but it pays homage to the original ride. On the way to the Bat, we've got the famous Son of Beast station just sitting here unused for over 15 years now.
Well, you should have paid attention. Why
Also here in Action Zone, we have the Chutes ride, Congo Falls, which is almost laughably small compared to some of the others like Kentucky Kingdom's Mile High Falls. But maybe the splash is just as big, we'll see. It's got a kind of step in the drop, so that's something different. Yeah, pretty big splash. Not quite as big as Mile High Falls, but got me wet just standing there. Across from that, we've got the inverted Tacoma Boomerang Coaster Invertigo, which maybe it's just me, but I always thought this kind of looks like the Eiffel Tower in its design and its color scheme. I don't know if they meant to do that or not. strange that not only is this a station wait, but it's completely empty right now. It is later in the day, almost 5 in the afternoon, but weird to see it completely empty. Heading back towards the center of the park, here's the VIP lounge. If you're a Prestige Pass member, then you can use this lounge. But in the middle of the park, of course, we've got the Eiffel Tower, and there's an observation deck with a garden around it also, with some kind of mini Eiffel Towers representing some of the rides here. This one for Mystic Timbers, that should be open now, but we still haven't done that today. We've got several more hours though before the park closes. Eiffel Tower was one of the opening day attractions, so you can imagine, of course Orion wasn't there, and neither was Windseeker, but the race was pretty much the biggest ride here, and there probably weren't as many subdivisions and houses around the park.
Subscribe to New Wave Hobbies on YouTube. New Wave Hobbies YouTube. Subscribe.
Got a lot of local like fast food restaurants at Kings Island. One of them is Skyline Chili here. You can get this chili and spaghetti combo that they call the three-way. The food by itself isn't too expensive, but if you get a fountain drink, then that's about half as much as the food is, so I would keep that in mind. But the food is local and it's good. So something that sets Kings Island apart from the Six Flags parks that it's now a part of. Finally got back to Flight of Fear and Orion here in Area 72 that we were gonna do at the beginning of the day. And Flight of Fear had a longer line now, but it was only about 30 minutes, I'd say. And Orion has such great capacity that I was able to do it 3 times in about 30 to 40 minutes. So something about those is not really the same. But then I had to get back to my locker. There's a weird locker rental system here where you'll rent for like 2 hours for $5, and then if you go over that, they'll just charge you $2 more per hour to rent the same locker. Which, if you do the math, that's less than the $2.50 per hour for the first 2 hours. But then the other thing is, if you're gonna move your locker, you gotta get your stuff out and go rent to another locker and change your locker rental there. So it's a weird system here, but it does help things run a lot faster without people having to bring their stuff on the rides. Finally got back over here to Mystic Timbers, and it's pretty relentless. The last time we were here was a lot colder, so it seemed to be running a little bit slower. But it's been a pretty hot day today, so it's running fast and smooth. It's hard to believe that that's almost 10 years old now. And I think we got the train that gives us the rarest monster in the shed too. Got another ride on Mystic Timbers. One thing I'd like to know is when you go in the shed, it plays an 80s pop song, and then a monster projection jumps out. And I'd like to know what the chances of getting each song and getting each monster is, and if every song is linked to a certain monster. I wonder if anybody knows that.
Woodstock Express.
Kings Island has their famous blue ice cream that can only be bought here, but they have another local place called Graeter's Ice Cream, which is local to the Cincinnati area, but might be just as good as the blue ice cream. It's over. Right here underneath the Diamondback track, there's another remnant of a forgotten ride. The entrance to the old Tomb Raider, the ride. Heading back here to get one more ride on the Beast as the sun sets. May not be completely dark, but it's close enough. Well, we just got a night ride at the Beast after some long delays for the fireworks, but we caught some of those in the station. So Kings Island is closed now, but what else can I say? Perfect way to end the day at Kings Island is to ride the Beast out into the night. So thanks for checking out Kings Island with us. I'll see you on my next voyage. Buc-ee's here in Smiths Grove, Kentucky. Could this be the last Buc-ee's on I-65 north?